good to be with you. I would ask, Lord, please bless this time and these thoughts, both of myself and of the congregation as they mingle together, that they may be used for your holy purposes. Amen. I ask a number of confirmands over a variety of decades, what are your memories of confirmation? I got a variety of responses. One of the eldest members of this congregation said, I can do that in one word: scared. The pastor at that time was Reverend Strayline, who had been here the longest until yours truly showed up. Mrs. Strayline told me that well into his 70s, he would invite boys in the congregation from the church to come to their house just down over the edge of the hill here and challenge them to a push-up contest. I told her at that time, I said, this pastor won't be doing that. Confirmation is a time when you learn what we believe Christ's answers might be to life's questions, and a place to bring your own questions and answers and your doubts. I remember reading that doubts are like ants in the pants of faith. They keep us moving. Too often, we think that we have weak faith when instead there are challenges we have yet to overcome. Confirmation generally occurs between the ages of 12 and 14, when a child is just beginning to become a man or a woman. And there is more room for searching and sharing it aloud. In that no man's land between childhood and adulthood, it is very important for a child to have someone who is both a good listener and a wise advisor. For a child to have someone who is both a good listener and a wise advisor is very important. I remember my dad saying that his dad died when he was 14 and was in confirmation. And at that time, he grew very close to the pastor that they had at that time, Reverend Homerkhausen. I recall a boy in one confirmation class who had bullied another. The bully was larger and enjoyed his position. And one day I asked him to stay after class, and I showed him to the wall. Now in the hall out here, you know there's that wall of pictures. It's not only a record, it is an object lesson. It is a tool. I walked up with him and I said, do you see the members of your class? They were not yet up there, but there were a lot of pictures up there. And I said, well, so-and-so who you have a challenge with, is any of his family up here? I think so, let me see. And he pointed out the boy's two older brothers. And then I called to his attention the fact that between the ages of 14 and 17, they had both grown between 6 and 12 inches. He said. And somehow, in the next week or two, that stress between them began to decrease, because somehow in those pictures he began to see his own future. I ask God's blessing on each and every one of you. There's a lot of memories of confirmation that are out there. Some of them about work camp experiences. At this time, I would like to call on Joan Westerfeld to come up. When her grandson, Lane, was in confirmation, he wrote a piece called On Wednesdays. We had moved confirmation to Wednesday evening after school because the kids told me, they said, we don't want to come on Saturday morning. Well, I knew what that was about. They wanted to stay home and watch cartoons. But there was something about Wednesdays that worked for them because they could come after school and stay in after school and have their class. And, well, anyway, I'm going to invite Joan to read something that Lane wrote when he was in confirmation. Joan?
Yes, I too was confirmed here. I was Joan Flutter, Westerfeld. So it was a very, very nice, warm treat for me to have my grandchildren go through confirmation. Lane was in confirmation under Reverend Dave. Loved him very, very much. And when Reverend Dave was retiring, Lane wrote this as a tribute to Reverend Dave. It was entitled On Wednesday. On Wednesday, you taught me how to study and learn from the Bible. On Wednesday, you taught me the books of the Bible. On Wednesday, you taught me to look for and know by heart some of the scriptures of the Bible. On Wednesday, you taught me that my church is more than a building, and the cemetery is full of heroes. On Wednesday, you taught me to look up to the people who run our church, for they are true leaders, and I should learn leadership skills by watching them. On Wednesday, you taught me how a man of great patience can teach a class of young people who sometimes showed little understanding and consideration for the lessons taught. On Wednesday, you taught me respect. On Wednesday, you taught me how to be a good listener. On Wednesday, you taught me wisdom. I watched how you interact with young and old, and how you always had some awesome words of wisdom that made each person feel special. On Wednesday, you taught me that going to Camp Needham and Camp Washington was more than a destination. Ask anyone who attended these camps, and they will tell you that it was an experience they'll always remember. On Wednesday, you taught me that the real reason we celebrate each holiday of the church calendar. On Wednesday, you taught me to love my God, my family, my country, and my church. On Wednesday, you taught me to love my God, my family, my country, and my church. And on Wednesday, you taught me that I was a very fortunate young man to be allowed to sit in your confirmation class for 2 years. Reverend Dave, you taught me that each and every day of my life is a gift from God. The Bible says it best. This is the day the Lord has made. Rejoice and be glad in it. And I want you to know that I do. So on behalf of all of us that you have confirmed, we want you to know that we will always have your back. We'll be there 24/7, but especially on Wednesday.
Thank you. I just want to say, I appreciate Joan sharing that. I don't think I could have. And the thing is that I accept that as one of the pastors of this congregation. It has been a blessing to us as your pastors to sit with your youth and to see the questions that arise out of their eyes and to feel their heart throb and say, what does the Bible mean when it says this or that? Because that's an important part of the study, and sometimes you just have to swallow hard and say, Lord, I'm not sure what to say to this one. And then think as you go on. One of the things that the confirmands pointed out to me about Camp Washington that came back later was it was not only preparing the meal for the homeless, but it was the importance of sitting down with them after we had had the meal and sharing a meal with them and seeing the world through their eyes a bit, which gave us guidance and direction as to what we should be about. Finally, I want to say something about something that we had done, and I wish I had done it sooner. You know, every time you get to a crossroads as a pastor, you think, I'm doing this now with the group. I wish I had done that years ago, because it came to me like one of the things that we had done in the past few years when I had served as your pastor was to take the kids up on a tour to go up into the bell tower and to get the feel of that, because as you go up, first of all, you get to the level which is a level above this one. And as you look back through the rafters, you see something comes to life that you don't normally see when you're down here, and that is, well, I remember reading that the man who designed this very building was a covered bridge builder. Okay? So when you look back this way, and there's a window at this end, it looks like the inside of a covered bridge. It's that way, and you get to thinking about the fact that we are a bridge to the future. The church is a bridge to the future. The church is a bridge that God guides us across into another world, another place, when we are there with God. In my experience as one of your pastors, I had 6 people who I confirmed, who either died during confirmation or shortly there, not too long thereafter. And I'd just like to pay tribute to them. Today they are Holly Meyer, Ron's sister, Michael Waxman, Todd Weberdig, Richard Burning, Ross Sherman, and Jennifer Bergman. And it makes you realize, and we have talked about this sometimes within some of the classes, particularly when they had a classmate that was facing a real challenge, that death wasn't something that happened 50 years from now. It could happen to you in your life right here, right now. And that you need to give your heart to God and ask for that guidance that can help you to face it. So I ask God to bless us on this Sunday as we share our memories. And I encourage you, as you're downstairs eating that good fried chicken, to talk to each other about your own memories. So, and some of you who maybe married a confirmand, but you weren't confirmed here, you were raised in another congregation. Share what experiences you had that were crucial in your passage of faith. What helped you? Was it, for all of us, a lot of times it was just something that mom and dad made me do. Well, if that was it, that was it. But if that was it, then there was something else, I bet, that affected your life, that encouraged you to make a journey of faith.